Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Basketball Bulletin. I'm Trevor Lane, and wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about some of the games that we saw tonight. The first big night around the NBA. We saw 12 games in action tonight. Absolutely unreal. And, of course, everybody is buzzing about Wemby. Victor Wembanyama. Good Lord. Let's get into it. Obviously, I didn't watch every game tonight, and I'm not going to do this every night, but tonight I caught a number of them, a few more that I'm still going to have to watch later on. I'm going to try to get to as many of them as I can, but when there's 12 games, it's tough to see them all. I will say, little recommendation if you're trying to bounce around the NBA and get a look at a lot of different teams. If you do have League Pass, the NBA.com app, it does have, after the fact, a feature that will allow you to watch just the possession. So it takes out all the in-between stuff, and you can usually get through a game in about 40 minutes or so and watch all the possessions. So that's what I use. That's how I'm able to watch a number of games. But you can't do that live. Obviously, you have to do that after the fact. But all right, let's not bury the lead or anything. By the way, welcome in, everybody. I'm not going to stay for too long. I still have to go record the Lakers Nation podcast, which I'll do in just a bit. But let's just get into it. Victor Wembanyama, good Lord. 40 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 blocks. It was hard not to watch that game and just feel like we're screwed. I mean, there's nothing you can do about Victor Wembanyama. There's nothing you can do. It wasn't like he was going up. Like, let's be honest. If Wemby was going up against the Lakers front, they're going up Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton, and Wemby went nuts. You could look around and you go, well, Ayton's not the best defensive player, and you could say those types of things, right? He was going against the Mavs, and the whole thing for the Mavs was we're going to be this big, strong, physical defense, right? That's what we're going to be. We're going to let AD play the 4, and that means we're going to have Lively at the 5. Now, they didn't have Gafford in this game, but still, we're going to have all these guys, right, that are going to be big and strong and tough, and we're going to be defensive, just menaces out there. And Wemby just made it look easy. Made it look like he was playing against 5th graders on a Nerf hoop. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. I think the essentially the reaction around the NBA right now, since we're getting closer to Halloween, you guys know the moment in like a zombie movie or something where one of the characters thinks they're about to escape and everything, and then something happens, something goes wrong, and the zombie horde starts descending upon them, and they get that look of realization on their face, like that moment where they go, oh, and they know it's all over. That's kind of the collective response around the NBA right now, because Wemby was just unstoppable. Nobody could do anything with him. 40 points, 15 to 21 shooting, and he was doing it to Anthony Davis. I mean, the plays that he was executing, driving to his left past AD, dunking over him, the reverse dunks, one of them off of a lob, they threw it 15 feet in the air, and Wemby reverse dunk, not literally, but still. There was nothing even AD could do. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable what we saw tonight from Victor Wembanyama. And like I said, I don't know what anybody can do. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you got to hope that some other teams can get in there and do some things. But whew, if Wemby is healthy, I think there's 2 things. We've talked about this being a possibility, but I think he could be in the MVP conversation. If Wemby's healthy, we already know he'll win Defensive Player of the Year. He was going to win it last year, and then he got hurt. But if he's healthy, he's not only winning the Defensive Player of the Year, he could win MVP. And that could be on a Spurs team that's just a playoff team. Like, Wemby was so good. If he's this way all season, I'm not saying he's going to drop 40 every game all season, but if he's playing with this kind of force all season, if he's getting to the basket like this all season, like, there will be a real case, even if the Spurs are like the 6th seed or the 7th seed, to give the MVP to Wemby. That was unreal what we saw tonight. Steph Castle, by the way, very, very good himself. The defensive instincts I thought were very impressive. Big improvements there. 22 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds for him. He was excellent. Remember, this is the Spurs team without De'Aaron Fox right now. No De'Aaron Fox for the Spurs. By the way, everybody, if you haven't subscribed yet to the Basketball Bulletin, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Somebody said, Trev's a machine. He's been doing shows all day. That's right. I'm doing it again tomorrow. Got a busy day tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow is the debut of the Lakers Collective. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to have, it'll be myself and Jovan and Jason Timpf will be live on the Lakers Collective tomorrow. Excited about that. So hopefully you guys check that out as well. But yeah, you know what? But this is a great time of year because basketball is back. And so I'm very excited for that. Also made my NBA TV debut today. That was a pretty cool moment for me. I got to admit. Got to go on NBA TV today for a little bit, do a segment. That was a lot of fun. All right, but let's jump down to the Mavs. The Mavs, one of the big stories going into this game was Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg's NBA debut. Let's go. 4 for 13, 10 rebounds. And I'm not saying he was bad because he wasn't. There were a number of plays where he flew all over the place. His one steal was an awesome one. He caught up to a play and was able to get a stop that, frankly, had no business getting. But didn't shoot particularly well. And look at that. Because of how good Wemby was, Cooper Flagg in his NBA debut was minus 29. And that's not an indictment of Cooper Flagg. It's not like Flagg played that poorly. Started at point guard. We've got two teams in Texas, the Mavs and the Rockets, who are both saying, well, we don't really need an actual point guard out there on the floor. And by the way, the Mavs have D'Angelo Russell, our old friend D'Lo, and he only played 15 minutes in this one. So, but I thought there were moments where the Mavs definitely missed having a traditional point guard out there on the floor for them. And we saw that a bit with Houston last night too. But Dallas, I mean, you got something out of PJ Washington. Anthony Davis got going a little bit late, but 7 for 22 overall. 22 points, but it wasn't super efficient getting there. The Mavs, 37% from the field on the night. Not ideal for Dallas in terms of what they were looking to do in this game. All right, let's bounce over to another game. D'Lo's underrated. Yeah. I think he is. I think he is underrated. Especially on this Mavs team, I think he can fit fairly well because they're such a good defensive team, or they should be anyway. Flagg was awful until that one stretch. I mean, like, he was 4 for 13. At least one of them was a heat check. I was bouncing around games, I'm sorry, not a heat check, but a 2 for 1 where he put up a shot early to try to get 2 for 1. I thought Flagg did some good stuff defensively. So, and you're asking him to do something that you probably shouldn't be asking him to do, and that's play the point guard position. All right, let's jump over. The initial nationally televised game of the day was the Cavs taking on the Knicks. And the Knicks, I thought, were pretty impressive with a ailing Karl Anthony Towns dealing with a hamstring issue. He went out there and played, gutted out. 19 points, 11 rebounds. The Knicks missing Josh Hart, missing Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson's going to be a starter for them. It looks like this year they're going to go two bigs, and that's why Huck Porty went into the starting lineup. But Jalen Brunson, 5 for 18, not the most efficient night, but 12 of 13 for the free throw line. Once again, doing Jalen Brunson stuff. Mikal Bridges, game 16. Miles McBride, 15. And just the Knicks were the better team on the night. The Cavs made some runs, but I thought the Knicks looked pretty impressive. OG Anunoby sealed the game with a big steal and then took it the other way. So 14 rebounds, 3 steals for OG, plus a block. I thought he was excellent in this one. You look at Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell got going, especially in the third quarter. He was great. 31 and 5 for him on the night, but wasn't consistent all the way through. But nonetheless, pretty solid there for much of the night. The Cavs clearly missing Darius Garland. Evan Mobley, the defensive player of the year, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and a block, 4 stocks from Mobley. Jared Allen, a little bit of a quiet night, 4 points, 4 boards. But the Cavs do fall in their first game, their first matchup with the Knicks. These could be the 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference, except look out for Miami, right? So far, so good. They beat the Miami Heat, or I'm sorry, look out for the Magic. The Miami Heat, I don't have high hopes for the Heat this year, but the Magic basically got what they wanted, right? Des Bane, 23 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 of 6 from deep. That's what you wanted. Meanwhile, Franz Wagner, 24 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. Meanwhile, Paolo Banchero, 24 points, 11 rebounds. That was the idea behind trading for for Des Bane. And look at that. That is a sight for sore eyes in Orlando, the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, and it was not close last season. And 40% from three. That's part of why they brought in Des Bane, was to create opportunities to knock down threes. I thought they had two problems as a three-point shooting team last season. Number one, it was their actual shooting. But number two was their shot creation, which didn't help at all because they weren't able to create good looks from behind the arc. So the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA last season. But if they get that back on track, I'm not saying they're going to shoot 40% every night, but if they are even an average three-point shooting team, their defense is good enough to carry them. And then you add Des Bane into the mix, and it's a bit more understandable why the Magic gave up as much as they did to get him. Lakers fans keeping an eye on Andrew Wiggins, 18 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. Bam Adebayo, not the most efficient night with 15. 28, though, for the new member of the Miami Heat, Norm Powell. They got him via trade, plus 9 rebounds and 4 assists. Norm Powell, what a start. In fact, he was 1 for 1. His first shot as a member of the Heat, knocked it down. Davion Mitchell, really impressive stuff. 12 assists for Davion. Remember, no Tyler Hero right now, who's out for Miami. Davion Mitchell stepping in. 12 assists on just 1 turnover for a guy who's not really known as a point guard, really more of a defensive guy. And that's really impressive. 12 assists and just 1 turnover for Davion Mitchell, plus 6 rebounds. The Miami Heat have to be feeling pretty good about re-signing him this last summer. All right, let me go here. I do appreciate the super chat. Wall Yang said, if the Spurs trade for Giannis, they're the title favorites. Oh, yeah. I sounded like the Kool-Aid man right there. Oh, yeah. If they are the title favorites, yeah, if you put Giannis and Wemby together, that is such a problem. That's such a problem. Two top 3 level players join forces. Nobody can stop them. Yeah, you'd have 2 of the most just physically unstoppable players in the NBA playing together. That would be very difficult to deal with if you are any other NBA team. If we get Wemby and Giannis together, and that's got to be the fear for the Western Conference, is that you could see something like that. The Spurs go do something like that. It sounded more like the Macho Man. I'll take that. Maybe snap into a Slim Jim, right? Oh, yeah. All right. This is what happens when you get late night Trevor. This is what happens. All right, let's go. I know post-Lakers games is even later, but still. Let's take a look at this one, though. I think I have not caught, I caught a couple of plays from this game, but I did not see much of Brooklyn or Charlotte. So just taking a look at the box score here, 15 points for Cam Thomas, 9. So Michael Porter Jr. winning the battle between Cam Thomas and himself to see who can get the most shots up. MPJ put up 15. He had 9 for Cam Thomas. Nick Claxton with 17 points. We know that. Oh, and there's a guy, Day'Ron Sharpe, doing Day'Ron Sharpe things. Did have 5 turnovers. That hurts, but 14 points and 4 boards. We know the Brooklyn Nets are not going to be good. Although there is another team that we're going to get to in just a minute that we expected to not be good, that somehow absolutely crushed the Clippers. We'll get to that. I'll do that one next. Brandon Miller, though, I'll tell you what, the Hornets, I don't expect the Hornets to be good. And I think part of the reason why they won so big was, and I'll have to watch the game, but 136-117, my guess is part of it is Brooklyn's just really not good. But I think Charlotte is going to be fun. I think they're going to be a fun offensive team to watch. LaMelo Ball, 20-8, doing his thing. Ryan Kalkbrenner, I was talking about him the other day with Keith Smith when we were bouncing around the league, talking about players we're interested in seeing. And I shouted him out, 11 rebounds and 2 blocks. He's a guy the Lakers were rumored to be targeting with their second-round pick, but he got taken before they can get there, and they wound up taking Adu Thero. But for a Hornets team that don't really have a guy that you look at and say, that's a legit starting caliber center. Kalkbrenner put up legit starting caliber center numbers here. The turnovers are way too high for a center at 4, but still, that's an interesting one. Then the Knipple, 5 boards, 11 points. I think he's going to be a real good one there. Colin Sexton, one of my favorites for a while, back from his Cleveland days. Somebody certainly to keep an eye on there in Charlotte. Pretty efficient score, 15 points off the bench in just 17 minutes. That's phenomenal. You love that. And then look at the balanced scoring. Every Hornet who played, with the exception of one, was in double figures. That's insane. That is insane balance. That's insane. Balance across the board scoring wise. And that just shows you the team has really spread the ball around. Trey Mann with 6 assists. Look at the assists. Trey Mann with 6, LaMelo Ball with 8, and Brandon Miller with 7. Plus 4 for Bridges. Unbelievable. I can't wait. In fact, this is the game I'm going to queue up after I finish recording tonight. I'll go check that out. 33 assists on the night for the Hornets. That's pretty impressive. All right, let's jump over, though. I'm sure there's a number of you that want to talk about this game. The Utah Jazz, expected to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. And what did they do? They absolutely annihilated the Clippers. Annihilated the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, 3 for 9, 1 for 5 from 3, 10 points, a minus 25 in 29 minutes, like he was not even there, or better yet, like he was just planted in the ground, like a tree, I suppose. That was Kawhi Leonard in this game. Ivica Zubac, our old friend, Big Zoo, 19 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, did his thing. But Brad Beal, 20 minutes, 2 for 5. Yikes. And you can see the clip. I mean, this game was over. It was 43-19 at the end of the first. 35-28, the Jazz poured it on even more and won the second. 30-30, they only lost the third by 3. And then by that point, the game's over. So the fourth quarter didn't really matter. So you saw a lot of the key guys for the Clippers didn't even play that many minutes. But here's what we need to keep an eye on. Here's what we need to keep an eye on. What is going on with Walker Kessler? What is happening? 22 points. Right? Doesn't score a lot of points. That's not really his game. 22 points. All right. 9 rebounds. Okay. 4 assists. Wow. That's 9 rebounds. That's in his wheelhouse. No problem. But 4 assists. Okay. All right. We got something there. 2 steals. Huh? Okay. 4 blocks, 6 stocks total on the night, but 4 blocks. All right. That's all Walker Kessler stuff so far. Maybe the assists are a little bit high. Maybe the steals are a little bit high, but so far this is all Walker Kessler stuff. The points a little bit high too. 2 for 2 from 3. What's happening? Can Walker Kessler suddenly shoot threes? And I don't want to jump to the conclusion because he's tried shooting a few in the past and it generally has not gone well. Has not gone well when Walker Kessler shot threes. But look at preseason. Played in 1 preseason game, 1 for 1. He's 3 for 3 on the season from 3. Did the Jazz mess up by not doing an extension right now with Walker Kessler? They told him, no, we're going to wait till next year. Now, part of the benefit of doing that is that he can sit on their books with a very low cap hold. And if they want to spend money in free agency next summer, they can do that. And so there is some method to the madness there with Walker Kessler that they can use his low cap hold to their advantage rather than bumping that number up by immediately giving him an extension right now. But if Walker Kessler, if he's even a 35% three-point shooter on the season, I'm not going to assume a 3-shot sample size means the dude can suddenly shoot threes. But if he is even league average, a little bit below league average from 3, and could do that now, his value just went way up. His value just went way up. He's a 19.6% career three-point shooter. If he can do that and get up to a decent percentage to where just that he has to be respected out there, it's another weapon, another arrow in his quiver, man, his value just went way up. And Walker Kessler might be thanking the Jazz for not signing him to an extension this summer because the man will get paid next year. Now, for everybody who's not a Jazz fan saying, well, could we steal him away? Could our team take him, whether it's the Lakers or anybody else? Keep in mind, restricted free agency has essentially devolved into an exclusive negotiating period with the incumbent team and the player. Teams will not touch restricted free agents anymore because the only way that you can get them away from their team is if you give them a deal that is very clearly a bad contract. That's it. You have to grossly overpay them, or a deal that by all estimations would be a bad contract. Otherwise, the incumbent team will just say, cool, thanks for negotiating for me, and we'll just match it. So if you're going to get Walker Kessler away from the Utah Jazz, you would have to give him an insane amount of money to get Utah to balk on giving. And even if Utah says we, for whatever reason, decide we don't want to be the team to pay him on his next contract, they'll probably just try to trade him at the trade deadline. Now, should any team get in on that? Well, only if you want to be the team to pay Walker Kessler on his next contract. And tremendous shot blocker. I thought he had one of his fouls late in the game that was bogus. It was a good block. He should have had another block. Instead, got called for a foul on it. Tremendous shot blocker, great timing. Not always the best hands, but 7 for 7 in this game, 9 boards, and 2 for 2 from deep. My goodness. Choco Thunder said, give him $20 million. If he's 35% from 3, he's getting more than that. I'm telling you, he will get more than that. That's crazy. Meanwhile, our old friend, Svi Mikhailuk. Do you Svi what I Svi? Starting for the Utah Jazz right now, for the time being. 9 points for him. Plus 20, a team high. You know, it's really good to Svi it. Kyle Filipowski, Summer League MVP, 9 points, 5 assists for him. 20 for Markkanen, including 8 for 13 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. I think it's possible that Markkanen is good enough to where the Jazz have real options to move him at the trade deadline. They may not move him. I think there's a better chance, and they're telling everybody, of course they won't, but they're going to tell everybody that no matter what. They're going to tell everyone, like right now, have you guys seen the story going around from Sam Amick that the Golden State Warriors, there's only a couple of players they would trade Jonathan Kuminga for because they really like Jonathan Kuminga? BS. They spent all summer through their actions making it very clear they don't actually like Jonathan Kuminga all that much. They don't want him to be part of their team long term because they were so dead set on making sure they have the ability to move on from him. And now they're putting out, oh, we really like him. There's only a few players we would trade him for. Every team right now has to act like they love every player because otherwise the Sharks will smell blood in the water and trade value and all that goes down. But with Markkanen, because he's 28, I think you could kind of buy the Jazz saying that they don't want to trade him. They want him to be part of their long-term future. But given what his salary is at and how much his shooting dropped off last year, if there's a window to trade him and they can get a significant return, because I don't think it's 100% certain that by the time the Jazz are good, Markkanen will still be at his best. I think the Jazz need to really explore moving on from him. Ace Bailey has been dealing with an illness, so he was great in preseason. I'm not going to count it against him. He was on a minutes limit in this one. 1 for 5, 4 boards, 2 assists, and just 2 points for him. But again, I think better days are ahead. Bryce Sensabaugh was very impressive as well. 20 points for him, 4 boards, 2 assists. Ainge asking for first-round picks for Kessler. Yeah, probably. Kuminga thing is a divide between ownership, who loves Kuminga, and front office, who very much hates him. We do know Joe Lacob really, really loves Kuminga, so there may be a little bit of truth to that. All right. Another surprise game tonight was how good the Raptors were. I was predicting the Raptors they were my toughest team to rank when I did my preseason rankings. They were my toughest team, but I did have the Raptors as higher than I think most. I was higher on them than most people. And I liked some of the things we saw. They made some mental mistakes that I was noticing in preseason, but there was something there defensively that I did like about them, even without Jakob Poeltl during the preseason. And I wouldn't have expected this, though. I expected Atlanta to come in and get the win. Atlanta making big moves in the offseason. But tough to beat a team when they shoot 57% from the field. Now, that said, 19 turnovers, 12 offensive rebounds helps to make up for that a little bit. But 22 for Scotty Barnes and 0 threes. He did all of his work inside the three-point line. And obviously was very efficient doing that. 9 assists, 6 boards. That's a nice night's work there for him. RJ Barrett, 9 of 12. He had a couple of their wings. Very hot shooting nights. Add that to Jakob Poeltl, 7 for 8, doing most of his work at the rim. Brandon Ingram, 5 turnovers. That hurt a bit there. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He had a quote going around that nobody can stop him when he gets going, and he truly believes that. 7 for 16 shooting and 5 turnovers doesn't necessarily suggest it, but I do think he adds another element to the Toronto Raptors and their attack. Like I said, I would not expect Brandon Ingram or the Raptors to beat a team like the Hawks, but if a guy gets hot on any given night, that could certainly happen. And then look, big night here. 21 points, 5 boards for Grady Dick, who took opening night, went pretty hard. Atlanta got the scoring they needed, just not the efficiency. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the newest Hawk, 2 for 15. Ouch. Porzingis, 5 for 12. Not good enough for a big man. 20 points, but didn't do it efficiently enough. Trae Young, 5 for 14. Again, not efficient enough. 22 points, only 5 assists. That's low for the assist leader in the NBA last season. Jalen Johnson did pick up those assists with 8 and had a pretty solid night, 7 for 13 shooting, 22 points. Did have 3 turnovers though, but the Hawks just shot poorly, and some of that is the length on the wings for Toronto gave them some problems. I also say, I don't know if you guys saw it, Keaton Wallace in this game. If you happen to catch this, I was jumping around a few different games, and I happened to be on this game when it happened. Keaton Wallace making a play along the sideline and face planted and chipped multiple teeth. Was a not a scary moment necessarily, but it was one of those, wait, what's going on? Why is he still down moments? And you go back and you see the replay, and I mean, he face into the ground. It was bad. And he's picking stuff up. It was his teeth. He was picking it. It was not a great moment, obviously, for him. Hopefully he's okay, and we'll be able to get all that fixed. All right, let's go. Where do we want to go next? Oh yeah, the Celtics fans are not thrilled that they lost. The Celtics did to the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's talk a little bit about the Rook, about VJ Edgecombe. I'm going to get into that. Actually, promise me you're not going to go anywhere. I need to pay a bill just really quick. I'll be back in 1 minute, and then we're going to talk about VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, good Lord, and then Joel Embiid, good Lord, in a bad way. I'll be right back. Ever hear the Sleeper app? Here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats. A news feed. This is so important for me. You can get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams. A real-time chat to allow you to engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA seasons. So download the #1 sports app today. Experience it for yourself. When you use promo code Bulletin, you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And by the way, they do have a phenomenal promo going on right now as well. Free $20 entry. Go check that out. No deposit required. $20 entry for free. Go check them out. Use the link in the description down below, and that promo code is Bulletin. Okay, let's get into it. VJ Edgecombe, 34 points. Good Lord. I mean, what a phenomenal. For a guy who maybe was a little bit shaky in preseason, VJ Edgecombe, 13 of 26, 5 for 13 from 3. 3 of 6 from the free throw line, I guess, is really the only, blemish here on his night. 3 assists, 7 boards, 34 points. Man, that was beautiful. Somebody was talking about, I saw it in the chat, about the push-off by Anthony Edwards. We're going to get to that. That drove me insane. I was not happy. We're going to get to that one in just a minute. But Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey goes for 40. Man, I mean, Tyrese Maxey playing like it was Bronny James defending him. 13 for 24, 7 of 9 from deep. But here's the crazy thing, is Maxey went berserk He went insane. Edgecombe went off in this game. Joel Embiid, 20-minute restriction, so didn't play much, but 4.6 boards, 1 for 9 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. I mean, hey, welcome back, Joel. And hopefully this, he gets into rhythm and he's just got to get his conditioning, timing, and all that kind of stuff back. I will give him leeway here, but that's obviously not a great night for him. But think about this. And this is why I think people have gone too far on Boston, that they think Boston is just going to be gone, that they're just obliterated and they'll be awful all season long. I don't think so. Maxey, I'm not predicting the 76ers are the best team out there. I think they're a very hard team to rank, especially no Paul George in this game. But Maxey and Edgecombe both went berserk, and the Sixers won by 1, and they had to win the fourth 42-30 to do it. Boston is still a difficult team to deal with. You look what happened. Derek White, 25 points. Big scoring performance out of him. Jaylen Brown, as the guy on this team now, with Jason Tatum out, 25, 6 and 4. Peyton Pritchard, 16, 6 for 14. Not the most, not the most efficient night for him, and not the most efficient night overall from 3 for the Celtics in general, 26%. And they took 43 threes. We know they're going to be a high volume 3-point shooting team. I think a lot of nights they'll be even higher than that. Anthony Simons, 13 points in 32 minutes. Frankly, I kind of expected that to be a little bit higher. But they're still a tough team on any given night. And if you're a Lakers fan, the silver lining is, will the Celtics win enough games so that they don't get AJ DeBanza in the draft? That I think is the hope, because that's the disaster scenario for fans of other teams, is that the Celtics have a gap year essentially, and then wind up falling backwards into the next superstar in the draft lottery. All right, let's jump up here and let's just move on to it. Let's talk about that Wolves game, because that was, yikes. One of the last games of the night. There it is, Wolves and Blazers. So I bring this one up. The Wolves beat the Blazers just barely. It was very close. Minnesota had to win the fourth 30-19 in order to take a 4-point win. I think this says a couple things. I think it says that Portland is better this year. I thought their defense looked phenomenal I thought there were a number of times where the defense was really good and the Wolves just hit a tough shot, and then the Wolves out executed in the fourth quarter. Lakers fans know a little bit about what that looks like. Rudy Gobert, a big offensive rebound for a dunk to help seal the win for the Wolves. But Anthony Edwards, 41 points, 4 turnovers, 14 for 28 shooting, 5 for 10 from 3. His last big 3 that he took, my God. I mean, it was as blatant, as obvious of a push-off. I was talking about it in the front office show. I talk about it all the time, how we're letting ball handlers too often use the straight or the straight arm or the stiff arm and really push off their defensive player. I mean, he pushed Jeremy Grant to the ground and full arm extended and then sank the 3. Everybody looking right at him and nobody did anything. No whistle. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. So that was, I'm not saying the Wolves wouldn't have won the game, but that's the type of play. Like, come on. Sometimes I think the NBA, we skew too far towards protecting offensive players and giving offensive players the benefit of the doubt. That was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. It was blatant. It was an obvious push off to the point where Jeremy Grant got pushed. And by the way, Jeremy Grant had a great game. Got pushed to the ground. Yes, SGA does it every play. I'm not saying Ant is the only one who does it. There's a lot of guys who do it. There's guys on the Lakers who do it. But it is a very obvious, and it's so easy to get your shot off if all you have to do is push off. Like, I get Jordan getting away with it when Brian Russell is the guy that's defending him, and it's what is expected to be Jordan's last shot of his career, and he leaves the arm hanging in the air and all that. Yeah, no referee's blowing the whistle on Michael Jordan on that play, but that can't be allowed every play. That can't be the norm, that offensive players can run around throwing their off arm out at the defensive player, pushing them off to create space. That can't be the norm all the time. All right, let's look at Dante DiVincenzo. Got the starting point guard job for the Wolves, and he started 20 minutes played, though. and was, 2 assists. That's not enough. Julius Randle, though, was 6 assists, 19 points. Again, 41 for Ant. Naz Reid, I didn't get to watch this entire game. I caught more the end of this one because I was watching other games. But Mike Conley came off the bench. I think Mike Conley finally hit the age cliff here. What an incredible career for Mike Conley, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last run for him. But amazing career for Mike Conley, and maybe this is the year that he really drops off. Just 13 minutes off the bench for Conley in this one. But let's take a look at the Blazers. And look, I spent a lot of last year talking about how bad Jeremy Grant was and how ridiculous it was that the Blazers wanted multiple first-round picks for him last summer. It's still ridiculous. He's still a bad contract. But a great night, great start. He could not shoot last season, and he went 4 for 7 from 3, 10 for 14 shooting, was part of the closing lineup, 29 points. Jeremy Grant turned in a great game. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come for him because it really was a rough year for him last year, and hopefully he's ready to bounce back now. Shaedon Sharpe, pretty rough, 4 turnovers. Just got that big new deal. We know there'll be better days ahead, but a lot of potential still in him, but 5 for 20 shooting. Yeesh, plus 4 turnovers. Drew Holiday, the newest Blazer, second time, I guess, got traded there, got traded away, back. Now he's back. But Drew Holiday, 1 for 7 shooting. That's where the Blazers leave this game and they think, well, Jeremy Grant shot better than expected, but man, 40% from the field, 31% from 3. Like, we're winning this game if even 1 or 2 guys shoot just slightly. I mean, Denny Avdia went 0 for 6 from 3. He's much better than that. Drew Holiday went 1 for 7. 1 for 13 from 3 from Drew Holiday and Denny Avdia combined. That's probably not going to happen very often. 5 assists for Toumani Camara is impressive. He got that new deal. One of the best contracts now in the NBA. Already was, but locked in now for 4 years. Toumani Camara. That's an incredible steal for the Blazers, given how good he is defensively. But Portland, I think they're going to be yet another good team in the Western Conference. I don't think there's going to be any easy nights in the West this season. I don't think there's going to be easy nights in the West. Rui or Grant, I am still going to say I thought Rui was decisively better than Jeremy Grant last season. I'm not going to because of one good game from Jeremy Grant this year, reverse that. Rui, and on top of that, Grant's contract is long-term and rough. So now, if he's playing like this every night, the contract doesn't look nearly as bad, obviously. But Rui also has the expiring contract. So 100% it's Rui, but game 1, which guy was better? It was Jeremy Grant, and I'm not close if we're comparing the two guys. Jeremy Grant turned in a much better performance in one game this season than Rui Hachimura did. But Rui was decisively the better player last year. I like Grant, the player, hate the contract. Yeah. Todd said, I hate NBA contracts are always trash. Teams are getting much more careful with their contracts moving forward now. Under the new collective bargaining agreement, we're seeing a lot more non-guaranteed money. Like, teams are not giving Jeremy Grant contracts anymore. 32 million, 34 million, 36 million with a player option. Teams aren't giving out those kind of deals unless they know they've got, at the very least, a third best player on a really good team. We're seeing teams be much more responsible with their finances now. We just are. Teams know under the new collective bargaining agreement, or newish, I guess, we're a couple of years into it, they're being way more responsible with their funds than they have been in the past. They are, and this is also part of the reason why restricted free agency is effectively dead. It is now just an exclusive negotiating window because teams are not willing to have bad money on their books. They don't want to mess with the aprons. We only have one team above the second apron this year, and that's the Cavs. Teams don't want to mess with the second apron, and they don't want to have bad money on their books. Now, we did see some teams get a little extra creative, let's call it, and take dead money on with Damian Lillard and with Brad Beal in Phoenix. So that maybe would be a bit of a counterpoint to teams being allergic to having bad money on their books. But when they're signing new contracts, they are trying to be extra careful to protect themselves from getting what would be seen as a negative value deal sitting on their books, and then they have to give up something in order to trade that and all of that. So we're not seeing as many bad contracts around the NBA. I mean, even look at the guys. Look, Dave, if Dyson Daniels hit free agency, if Christian Brown hit free agency. Those are guys who could get bigger deals, but because of restricted free agency and how punishing that is, how inhospitable it is to RFAs, they're now saying, well, I don't want to mess with that. Okay, I'll take a little bit less on a deal this year rather than bet on myself and try to get more next year, because I know teams are not going to touch anybody that's a restricted free agent. They will stay away. The front office rules are trash. I mean, there's tweaks I think you could make. I've actually been impressed with how most teams have adapted to the new rules. I think about that. How about our old friend Russell Westbrook? Let's go see how that went in Sacramento. The Kings just finished up against the Suns. They did lose by 4. Phoenix, better than I think most people expected, myself included, frankly, better than most people expected them to be. But Zach LaVine had some uncharacteristically awful misses late in this game. 2 for 10 from 3. I mean, not even hitting the rim on a few of them, clanging off the backboard. Maybe that's the Russell Westbrook effect. I don't know. But Zach LaVine, 2 for 10. I shouldn't be mean to Russ. 13 to 24 shooting. You'll take that, but the 3-point shooting a little bit off. But 30 points. DeMar DeRozan, 29. He knocked in a big 3 late. 4 of 9 from the free throw line. That's uncharacteristic of DeRozan. He's a much better free throw shooter than that. 9 assists out of DeRozan as well. Nick Clifford, 8 rebounds. I was very impressed with him when he played against the Lakers. And 8 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals. Only took 3 shots, but he's the guy I definitely am keeping an eye on this season. Dennis Schroeder, the new guy, 7 assists, 14 points, 30 minutes. Obviously outplayed Russell Westbrook minutes-wise, but Russ, 0 of 2 from 3, 2 for 8, 2 turnovers, 6 boards, but 1 assist and a block and a losing effort. Malik Monk, another old friend, 19 points on 7 of 13 shooting. Tried to end lives at the end of the game, tried to throw down a dunk. But here's the thing. While we're spending all this time talking about Russell Westbrook and all of that, I need to say something else. This is very important. Free Keon Ellis. Free Keon Ellis. What are we doing, Sacramento? 13 minutes for Keon Ellis? You need more Keon Ellises on this team. That's one of the problems they have, is they don't have enough feisty defensive players who can also shoot from the outside. And they played him 13 minutes. Someone come rescue Keon Ellis. I've been saying all summer, the Sacramento Kings should not trade Keon Ellis. They need more guys like him. If you're only going to play him 13 minutes, if you're going to do that to yourselves, then let somebody else get use out of him. He's a much better player than that. Keon Ellis shouldn't be playing 13 minutes in this game. Man, that is insane to me. For Keon, I'm not saying he's a star or anything like that, but good Lord, get this man some minutes. 13 minutes for Keon Ellis is absolutely absurd. You've got to find time to get him. They need more defensive players than that. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Suns, Dillon Brooks. Did you see Dillon Brooks yelling at DeMar DeRozan? 9 for 24 shooting. Hit a big shot over DeRozan late and was yelling at him. They got tangled up late too. Dillon the villain doing all that stuff again. Devin Booker things, 15 free throw attempts, 31 points, 1 shy of Jimmy Butler from the free throw attempts. Butler didn't miss though, as we all know well. Royce O'Neal, very, very good. There's a reason why the Suns won up the Lakers offer a couple seasons ago and traded for Royce O'Neal, gave up an extra second-round pick to get him when the Lakers were after him. I don't think I reported that. But, yeah, I'd heard from within the Lakers that they were looking like they were maybe going to get Royce O'Neal and then didn't wind up working out. 12 points. The Suns upped their offer a bit the last minute. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Grayson Allen, 18, 5, and 7 assists. That's a nice night out of him, especially when we can get that kind of creation for a Suns team that is kind of light on shot creation. Asking Devin Booker to do a lot. Jalen Green still out with an injury. Malawach didn't play and I was a little bit disappointed by that. But they did get Mark Williams back. Former Laker, can we say that? Mark Williams, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, 6 points, and he was a plus 15 on the night. Starting center, Oso Ighodaro, 4 boards, 7 points. Very different style of center, but nonetheless, nice win for the Suns to start off the season. And I don't know if you saw, but Suns owner Matt Ishbia was going at Bill Simmons, challenging him to a bet about the Suns, trying to get them to donate money to charity or something like that. Or I think it was Bill Simmons. I kind of scrolled past it, but he was not happy that people were underselling the Suns. Although his central thesis has been reporters were wrong when they said we were going to be good over the last couple of years because we ended up being bad. So when they're saying we're bad now, that means we must really be good. That is like the crux of his argument for why the Suns will be good. I don't know. We'll see. It's one game, but I think they looked a bit better than we would have expected. Sabonis did not play for the Kings, still injured. So that's worth mentioning as well. And of course, Keegan Murray out as well due to that UCL injury. Bounce around to a couple more games. Again, I've already stayed longer than I intended to. I still have to record the Lakers Nation podcast in just a moment. Fortunately, I think that I've got the second half of it already done. I did an interview. But the Pels and the Grizz did not get to see this game. I will watch it after the fact. But Zion, 9 boards, 5 assists, 5 steals. I do plan to go see the Grizz take on the Lakers on Halloween. So I'll get to see them up close then. But Zion, my God, stay healthy. Stay healthy, Zion. 27 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 5 steals. Herb Jones doing Herb Jones things. 3 steals for him too, 17 points. Jordan Poole, welcome to the Pelicans, 17 points. And then you got 17 out of Jeremiah Fears. I don't know if I at least saw the clip, though, of Ja Morant. They're trying to burn clock late in the game, and Ja was able to run away from Jeremiah Fears to create space and burn clock, and he's pointing at him and laughing as he's running away from him. I don't know. Do we look at it at that as just like an ultimate trolling moment from Ja, or was that kind of a dick move? I don't know. I'll have to ask Grady. But 15 points for our old friend KCP, 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 for 8 shooting, 9 of 9 at the free throw line. And then Jalen Wells, rookie last year. I like him. Good all-around player, 14 points, 4 assists for him. Jaren Jackson Jr., look at the stat line. This is the most Jaren Jackson Jr. stat line ever, with the exception of threes. He's got one of the ugliest three-point shots in the league, but he makes a lot of them. 0 for 4 tonight. But 8 boards, 6 blocks, 6 fouls, 5 turnovers. That he has had trouble staying with foul trouble for years now, and fouls out of this game, but did block 6 shots. Was really good while he was out there, but fouled out in 27 minutes. The Grizzlies very, very injured. Remember, no Scottie Pippen Jr., no Brandon Clark, no Zach Edey, no Ty Jerome, who they picked up over the summer. He was out as well. So very, very thin right now, the Grizzlies, and they still managed to get the win over the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know. I still am a bit of a believer in the Pels, but you know what? If John Morant's going to drop 35 on 13 to 20 shooting, the Grizz can be tough to beat in that situation. Surprised Ja's playing. I know he did. He was announced that he was in right before game time. They announced that he was going to play in this one. All right, let me see. Were there any games that I missed? Again, I was watching so much basketball. I'm not going to do this every night, but I needed to get it all out and talk about it here. So I appreciate all you guys for joining. Oh, I did not watch this game. I saw it was the Wizards and just did not check in. I will watch it after the fact. But I did see that Giannis had a big night. Yeah, of course he did. 37 points, 14 boards, 5 assists for him. Miles Turner, the new Milwaukee Buck, 4 for 12 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3. The two teams who have not played so far, the Denver Nuggets and the Indiana Pacers, will play each other tomorrow. Those are the only 2 teams in the league now who have not played. But 5 assists there for Turner, plus 3 blocks. And I believe Kevin Porter Jr. got hurt. I saw something about it, but again, I did not see this game yet, so I didn't see exactly what happened with him. Kyle Kuzma relegated to the bench, but I mean, 5 for 10, that's better efficiency than we've seen in the past from him. All right, everybody. Once again, Lakers need a Keon Ellis, Walker Kessler, and DeAndre Hunter type. Yep. DeAndre Hunter, former Laker. But yes. Yeah, if you, I mean, much easier said than done. But those 3 archetypes would go a long way. Would go a long way towards helping the Lakers. All right, everybody. Please make sure you do subscribe right here to the Basketball Bulletin. Appreciate all of you. Come hang out tomorrow. It's going to be me, Jovan, Jason Timpf. We're going to be hanging out, talking Lakers basketball, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll start off the Lakers Collective. Hopefully you guys have subscribed. If you haven't yet, you can find that channel. In fact, I'll drop the link in the chat here. We decided to combine our powers. Again, that's 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. We decided we're going to team up and do a show together, jump on once a week and talk some Lakers basketball. So we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to do it every Thursday, or try for every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So come hang out with us there. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you for all being here. Appreciate all of you so much. Thank you, Kirk. Appreciate you. And Bunkett, appreciate you as well. Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go get the Lakers Nation podcast recorded. Todd said, go Rockets. Man, I think they're going to be good, even without a guard. And I think they're going to find a guard. They're going to be good. Really good. All right, everybody. Again, thank you very much for joining. Till next time. See ya. And stay safe.